I'm sorry, I just forgot, that's all. Yeah, I've got it here.
Trying to make a bit on the side, eh? Not bad. $40 on your first day out.
I just forgot, that's all, Mr. Butterfield. There's no need to call me a thief.
Well, I wouldn't take it personally. It's not just you. There'll be no more work release for anyone. No? Lynn Warner's taken off.
What are you trying to do?
There it is.
Hang me, Lynn, the governor on the one rope? So much for team effort.
This isn't a girl guides camp. It's a prison, and we're dealing with criminals.
Don't you think I know that? Anyway, she's not due back yet.
She is missing.
Sorry, ladies.
That's all right, Ray, come in.
Oh, Jean, I was talking to the police about another matter. I had to tell them about Lynn. Sorry.
It's not quite 5 yet.
I know, but it should have been reported a long time ago.
Have you agreed upon your verdict?
We have.
How say you? Do you find the accused guilty or not guilty of murder?
Not guilty.
Oh, she did get off. Hello then everyone and welcome to the video. My name's SerenitySoloREACTS and here we are today with Prisoner Cell Block H episode 25. We're getting close to the end of volume 1 now, so I don't know how many volumes there is. There's a lot. So we're slowly getting through it. I swear to God, if Jean Vernon has not destroyed that picture yet, or what's Mrs. Roberts, whatever her name is, first name, decides to use the R word all the time again, I'm going to be led into a mental breakdown. Honestly, it's happening so much. I knew it would happen at some points in the episode, you know, blurring, but I didn't think it would be multiple times per episode. I thought it might have been a scene and that's it. But no, there's bleeps and blurs all over the place, and I have to apologise for that. The Patreon members do get it uncensored, and the Buy Me a Coffee early access when that starts next year will get it uncensored as well. But on YouTube and Dailymotion, I'm afraid there's nothing I can really do about that. This cannot get monetized anyway, so I have decided to let a few slip. If it has got ads on, I do apologise. It's probably Fremantle who owns the copyright who's added them. Like I say, Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee will be ad-free, but I can't do anything about it yet, I'm afraid, on YouTube. So I've got to apologise a bit about my voice. I've got a bit of a frog in my throat today, so I'll be clearing my throat a hell of a lot of times. I'll try and mute it out for you, but if I miss it, I apologise. But if you've subscribed already, thank you very much, or followed on Dailymotion, I really, really do appreciate it. And to my Patreon members, it is you that is bringing the content to me to allow me to bring the content straight back to you. Thank you all ever so much. I love you lots, no matter what tier you are. So with that, let's get into the episode.
Well, that's it, isn't it, really?
Bloody hell, about 20 times I had to do this.
12 months.
Restart the beginning
12
bit.
months out of my life for being an idiot, and then it'll all be over like a nightmare.
And that's the way we want it to be. We've always stood by you, your mum and I. We'll always be there, waiting, if you need us.
The prosecution will try to convince the jury that you are a cold-blooded and deliberate murderess. And when I get to your side of the story, your husband's attitude to the baby is being in your bed with another woman while you were having that child aborted. Yes. It will be rough. The question is, can you take it?
My husband was in the shower. I walked in and I stabbed him.
I'm going to say rough is losing so far.
The water went red. Oh, red.
Doing absolutely terrible. Absolutely.
Your Honor, I have no more questions. But I would ask that the court adjourn at this stage.
Helping the
Mrs. Thomas
prosecution.
is naturally upset.
That's reasonable, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Prout, do you have any objections?
I have no objections, Your Honor.
All stand. This honourable court now stands adjourned until 3 o'clock. God save the Queen.
See, I still think Hearn and Lynn will get out together. They came in together.
The jury loved it. I wonder if they'll be as impressed when I've finished with her.
Right, I'm completely forgetting about Monica. They left her in solitary. She's starved to death. She's had no drink. She's dehydrated to death. We're never going to see her again. I
We are
fully
talking
accept that now.
about deliberate murder, Mrs. Travers.
I know.
And you allege that you were driven to this crime by your husband's brutal behavior towards you.
Yes, sir.
Then let us examine the facts.
I don't know what that clicking is.
Did you consult a doctor when your husband allegedly beat you?
No.
Did you tell anyone at all?
No.
Did anyone see you to be bruised or damaged in any way?
No.
When you applied to have your pregnancy terminated, what reason did you give the clinic?
I told them I didn't think I was emotionally ready to have children.
Not emotionally ready. I find myself inclined to believe that part of your statement, Mrs. Travers.
Your Honour.
Quite so, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Proudfoot, I don't think the court needs any more cheap jibes of that nature.
I think we're just on the
I put
prosecution
it to
side,
you,
to be honest
Mrs.
with you.
Travers, that no one knew of your husband's alleged opposition to your pregnancy because there was, in fact, no such opposition. I put it to you, you elected to have an abortion for precisely the reasons you gave the clinic, and that having had it, guilty remorse drove you to blame your husband for your own failings and drove you ultimately and callously to murder him.
That isn't true. I wanted that baby more than anything else in the world. I wanted my child to live.
You wanted your child to live so much that when you terminated its life, you also murdered the man who fathered it because you could not face his judgment or your own guilt.
I don't like him.
There is not one shred of evidence presented to this court to support the allegation that your husband forced you to have an abortion or indeed ever mistreated you.
He's a good actor, though. I'll give him that.
The only indisputable fact before this court is that you killed him.
Is he going to lose another one? Is he going to end up walking out of this prison?
You know what we could organise? A bloody big petition. Get the same rights they've got in them Swedish prisons. The way I look at it, they've got everything laid on. Talk about the sweet life. That's not going to take your mind off tomorrow.
What?
Lying there worrying about it. Not going to do you any good at all, my girl. You know, from what Kate tells me, her old man hasn't got a hope in hell of bringing up their daughter unless she's there.
Don't say it.
Bloody useless men are, if you ask me. Not worth a cracker. What do you reckon?
I wouldn't know.
No, not the type to play around, are you? Was he your one and only?
Thank God they brushed that conversation off.
Shopped around a bit before I settled on mine. Should have had more sense. Mind you, I was faithful to him after we were married. Just more than he was.
Oh, shut up, Bea.
Always on bloody time.
Do they not walk around shouting lights out or something like that? Yeah, I haven't seen a clock in the cell.
What was he like?
Wayne?
Who
Dick.
else?
I used to think he was the most wonderful man in the world.
Yeah, me too.
It was after we got married that he changed completely. He never talked much. That's when he really started to drink. Killed him, Bea. I really killed him.
And now you think you're going to get away with it?
No, I don't think I'm going to get away with it.
I think she will at some point. But I don't think it'll be yet.
What are you looking so cheerful about, as if I didn't know?
Yeah, isn't it great?
Some people have all the luck.
I wish you could all come.
You had your chance when your brother dropped off.
Yeah, I wish I had some more relations to drop off.
Oh, here comes trouble. Good morning, Miss Bennett.
Come on, Warner, get a move on. You haven't got all day, you know.
Should
Mr. Vernon wants to see you. Yes.
Should have just sat down.
Remember, kid, if you can't get the king size, don't bother.
And the big bottle of gin.
Yeah, giant economy size, and see if you can get some decent food, you know, like hamburgers and eggs.
Oh,
and
cut it
bacon
out, you
and
lot.
cheese.
Come on, Warner.
Sorry.
Frankie's depossessed Doreen. She's back to normal. Finally.
You know what you'd get if you did try anything, don't you?
All the best,
Good luck,
love.
you.
Good luck.
I do wonder how it would have gone if Vera took Lizzie to see... Oh, the picture.
I've got Warner outside to
The
see
brother.
you.
Good, bring her in, please.
In here, Warner.
Hello, Lynn.
Sorry for the
Already for the
blurs
big
in
day?
advance.
I can't wait.
Well, I've no need to tell you that this is a big responsibility. If you abuse this privilege, you not only let yourself down, but me as well. Because I'll never be able to suggest this scheme again to the governor. And then all the other girls will miss out. So, it's up to you.
Oh, look, I won't let you down, I promise.
I know. But there are others who don't entirely agree with that.
I wonder who.
Now, I'll pick you up around about...
Oh, no, that'll be okay. I can make my own way back.
Well, I don't...
Yeah,
Come in.
is that safe?
Sorry to interrupt, Jean. Thought I'd find you here. Now, as soon as you finish with Miss Vernon, I want you to nip down to the kitchen, pick up your lunch, and get ready to sign out. That bus isn't going to wait, you know.
Off you go, then. Good luck. And I will pick you up.
I'm going to say, you're going to... Well, it's just catching the bus
Well, I
there.
hope you know what you're doing. This might sound fine on paper at a university, but I think you've picked a bad guinea pig for your experiment.
Now, Lynn may have her faults, Vera, but I think we've got to give her the chance to prove herself.
She'll have a list of convictions in no time. What they probably didn't teach you is that most of these women don't want to be rehabilitated. You're wasting your time and putting the general public at risk.
Pessimism, Vera.
I'll never understand, Vera.
Optimism's better. Oh, there's the picture.
Oh, Lynn. On your way, are you?
Yeah, I'm just going.
Lynn, if you should find anything to drink, I mean anything at all while you're out,
Maybe
mess will
Thursford
do.
comes in.
Will you put a drop in this little bottle and bring it back to your old mate, will you, love?
Oh, Lizzie, I can't. They've put me on trust.
Oh, go on. You can do it easily. No one will know.
What are you two plotting? Birdsworth, get back to the laundry where you're supposed to be.
Yes, Miss Bennett.
Is she ever going to
Change
get
your
her
mind, have you, Warner?
comeuppance?
You'd rather stay here with your friends.
No, Miss Bennett.
Put one foot wrong today, and it'll be the last time any girl gets out of here on one of these stupid schemes. Now get going.
What was with the 1950s, like, dramatic music?
Well, I still don't understand why you didn't mention the fact that your mother knew about the beatings.
It wouldn't have done any good. She'd never have backed me up. She prefers to pretend that these things don't happen in nice families.
You realize, of course, that we could subpoena her.
Oh, yeah,
And once
I forgot.
she's under oath...
The mother.
I told her I'd never ask her for any help, and I won't go back on my word.
You must know that you're tying my hands. Now, I thought that the whole point at the beginning was to bring out all the evidence that wasn't...
The Queen and Travers.
Yeah, why does no one listen to his advice and then bitch when they get convicted?
Hey,
Well, apart from Lynn, who was happy.
just don't be frightened. You tell the truth, everything will be all right.
If they believe me.
Oh, they will. Hey, give us a smile, huh? Okay.
Well, I think that's it. I don't think I've forgotten anything.
Yep, she's still in it for a
Certainly doesn't
reason.
look like it.
She's going to get
You've got enough
cold.
stuff there to equip an army. Queensland's the Sunshine State, you know. It's another world up there.
Well, I know I'm going to love it. It'll be wonderful to get away from here.
Well, if you're quite sure that you haven't left the gas on or the back door unlocked, we're just about ready to go.
No, everything's done. I've been round and checked to make sure. I've cancelled the paper and the milk. I don't think there's anything else.
Your daughter.
Let's get started before you think of something.
A verdict is expected today in the case
Just
of
a minute,
Karen
Charles. I want to
Travers, who was
listen to that.
appealing against a life sentence handed down in September of last year. Travers was convicted for the murder of her husband. And now for the sporting details. Football fans today are excited about the possibility of a
Is
fine.
he going to dump her now? 'Cause
Why
of
the
this?
sudden interest? Did you know her?
Yes, slightly. Long time ago.
I remember the original case. I always thought it was such a tragedy. A beautiful young girl like that. the whole of her life ahead of her. And, of course, I only knew what I read in the papers at the time, but it always seemed to me there was much more to it than met the eye. I suppose the reason I felt sympathetic was because she was just about the age of my own daughter.
At least she's smart.
I wish her luck.
Vera does have a point, you know. I'd hate anything to go wrong.
I'm sure we can trust Lynn.
Those are my feelings, too. Otherwise, I wouldn't have agreed. The press are particularly sensitive about outside work schemes at the moment.
That's only because of one or two isolated incidents.
That isolated incident is what sells newspapers.
Oh, don't they realize? I mean, it's far better to have a rehabilitated person taking a useful place in society rather than a prisoner who can only be a drain.
You don't have to convince me. You're talking to the converted.
Well, does she
Some of the board already
for
think
it?
that my ideas are far too liberal.
Would you like
I'd
community
like to
service?
extend the scheme to include other girls.
Yes, well, I don't want to rush into things. Let's see how Lynn gets on first.
She'll be fine, absolutely no worries at all. I'll stake my job on her.
Oh.
You already have.
By picture.
Mine too, possibly.
Hi, Mr. Butterfield. It's a lovely day, isn't it?
You reckon?
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least you're on time for your first day.
Oh, it's a good buzz. Bit of a hike up the lane, though.
Well, I must say I wasn't expecting you to turn up all by yourself.
Oh, it'd be too embarrassing in a paddy wagon.
Yeah. Well, look, I better get you started.
Could the
Let's
spare
see,
paddy
put
wagon
your stuff
zero?
around here, see?
Mhm.
And the toilet's round the back, okay?
Okay.
Now, you know about seedlings, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I used to do some transplanting with Dad, and we had this garden at the prison that,
Oh, good. Now, let's see what you can do with this lot.
I thought you said
I'll
ceilings.
tell you what I want you to do.
Seedlings.
Take the seedlings out of the box and pot them in these, right?
Okay.
And then after that, label them all. Now, you'll find some gloves over there if you want to use them.
No, I'll be okay, thanks.
Oh, and put today's date on them, will you?
Yep.
Now, I've got to go out for a while,
Mhm.
but Mrs. Grant will be coming in soon.
Yes.
She's usually only half an hour late. Any questions you can ask her.
Okay.
You'll be all right on your own?
Oh, yes, I've got plenty to do.
Okay.
See you, Mr. Butterfield. Come on, dogs. You coming inside?
Dogs? I only saw one. She used plural. If something goes missing at all, she's going to get blamed. Oh, looks like we've got a new person coming in. So is this just going to be shoplifting? It's a bit boring after the last one. Something about the blurring there. Bloody hell. The great 80s motion blur. Hold on, what cause did she give him to be watching? She a klepto. I mean, normally it's if you start acting shady. See, I kind of know about that because my social anxiety in shops can kick off and I can be looking around a lot, looking
Would
shady.
you be kind enough to come back to the shop with me and bring your handbag with you?
Did she want to get caught?
Then.
Could she be...
Hi. Time for a break?
I'm
off to lunch. Want to keep me company?
What's his
Thanks,
name's
Jean. I'm a
daughter?
bit busy at the moment.
And she's going to get Mrs. Roberts.
That's okay. My ego can cope.
Bert, I think his name was.
Any news of Karen's trial?
No. Unless it's going better than it did yesterday, it'll
We
be a
did that to
farce. She won't
Sarah.
stand a chance. I'm beginning to think it was all a stupid idea.
Why?
How's she going to take it if the jury goes against her, Jean? You're the expert, you tell me.
It won't be easy for her. But she can't be worse off than what she is now. Look, Steve Wilson is a very successful lawyer. Now, he wouldn't have taken on the case if he didn't think he could win.
When people listen to him...
True.
Well, you don't want to come? We could go Dutch.
Oh, your offer touches me, but...
Well, good to see someone so dedicated to his work.
Never mind if something goes missing. What happens if someone sets it up?
Hi.
You got the order for Gregson's?
Nothing goes missing.
Sorry, I don't know anything about it, but I'll get someone who does.
Okay.
Mrs. Grant! Mrs. Grant! Look, I'm sorry, Mrs. Grant's not here and Mr. Butterfield's gone out
No,
somewhere.
it's okay. I found him.
Oh, are you sure? I wouldn't like to make a
Look,
mistake.
there's the name.
Oh, fine.
Okay, how much do I owe
ID,
you?
Lynn?
It'll be on the invoice.
$39.50.
Here you go.
I'm going to guess it is in, then.
Oh, you wouldn't have the right money, would you? The office is locked and I haven't got any change.
Look, I'm in a bit of a hurry. Buy yourself a Coke.
It's not allowed. Could be construed as theft. She's going to forget to give it in.
Stand on the white line. Shoplifting. On remand till tomorrow.
I'll handle it.
Could be difficult.
The court system moves very fast to say it a lot, but bloody hell.
The usual refuses to give it. But the police have taken her fingerprints and checking the records.
Turn around.
Every now and then.
There's nothing to be gained by being uncooperative, you know. You can still be
Totally
charged
clipped.
and convicted without a name on the warrant. In fact, there's an additional charge of hindering the police. Empty your pockets and put your bag here. One handkerchief. Cigarettes, matches.
I'm guessing she hasn't got the
One purse containing
clock anymore.
$3.41.
One yellow metal watch.
Compact. And a comb. That's all. Well, you're certainly travelling light. Give us your watch.
See, it seems like she wanted to be put in.
We tell you what time it is in here.
Okay, Dana, that's why that got clocked in this house.
Sign. I said sign it! Well, if you're hoping your
That's
friends
terrible.
and family won't find out about this, you're wasting your time and
Because
ours.
she won't give a name.
Thank you, Mrs. Jackson.
This way.
I'd have a good think in there if I were you. Troublemakers aren't welcome in here.
A good thing they get, what, 3 minutes?
I would ask the jury to consider the emotional and
not enough
mental
time.
state of Mrs. Travers after her abortion. That she is a devout Catholic has already been testified to by her parish priest, Father Byrne. I think. That same afternoon, Mrs. Travers, after sacrificing the life of her child, came home to find her husband in bed with another woman. Now, this surely must bring forward the question...
Mum.
Your Honor, may I request a moment to have a word with my assistant?
Very well, but be brief, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson?
Is this assistant mute?
Mr. Wilson, I hope this delay has some relevance to the proceedings.
Yes, it has, Your Honor, I assure you. Excuse me, Your Honor. May I beg the court's indulgence? Some new evidence has just come to my attention, which I feel sure would influence the jury's decision.
Well, she might get out
With
now,
the
then.
court's permission, I should like to call one more witness.
No time,
I
sir.
object, Your Honor. This is most irregular.
I'm well aware of that, Mr. Proudfoot. But if Mr. Wilson can assure the court that the introduction of a new witness is essential to his case, and that there be no delay, I'm inclined to agree.
Yep, he has to.
Do you give that assurance, Mr. Wilson?
I do, Your Honor.
Very well then, objection overruled.
Raise the Bible in your right hand.
What's a
Repeat after me.
fancy piece going to be saying about this?
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give in this case
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give in this case
shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Replace the Bible.
So help me God. Don't we
State
say
your
that?
full name and address.
I got it wrong.
Mary Healy, 17 Banksia Street, Camberwell.
Mrs. Healy, could you tell the court, please, what is your relationship to the accused?
I'm her mother.
Now, Mrs. Healy, your daughter has testified that her husband was in the habit of beating her. Were you aware of this?
Yes.
Now, you'll have to speak up, please, Mrs. Healy.
Yes, on several occasions she came to me and showed me bruises she said he'd given her.
Several occasions.
She didn't see
Could you
it.
tell us exactly how many?
Oh, I don't know exactly. 3 or 4. Certainly 3.
What was your daughter's attitude toward having a family?
Oh, she was looking forward to it very much.
Your son-in-law, was he also looking forward to it?
No. He once said to me that if I wanted grandchildren, I'd have a long wait.
Did your daughter tell you when she became pregnant?
Yes, she did. I remember she was rather worried about what Wayne's, my son-in-law's reaction would be.
Did she tell you what that reaction was?
Objection! Sustained. Really, Mr. Wilson, you know better than to introduce hearsay evidence.
Yes, I beg your lordship's pardon. Mrs. Healy, does the date September 14th, 1978 mean anything to you?
Yes, it does.
Would you tell the court, please, exactly what happened on that date?
Well, I remember I was feeling rather miserable, so I decided to pay Wayne and Karen a visit. I got to the front of the flat and, well, before I could knock, I could hear Wayne shouting. They were obviously in the middle of a terrible row. I heard Wayne say that if Karen was pregnant, then she'd better get rid of it. He said he didn't want a snivelling brat ruining his life.
Why did she say anything then?
I
To him?
left without them knowing I'd been there.
Thank you, Mrs. Healy. That is all. No witness.
Could have pressed her a bit more.
Mrs. Healy, would you say that you and your daughter were close?
I'd say we're as close as any grown-up daughter and her mother usually are.
And yet you didn't see fit to come forward at the original trial and give evidence?
Well, there didn't seem to be very much point. Karen had already admitted everything.
Tell me, Mrs. Healy, did you ever speak to your son-in-law about his so-called abuse of your daughter?
No, I didn't. I believed, God help me, I had no right to come between a husband and a wife.
Just one more question, Mrs. Healy. You have produced some evidence which, by your own admission, you felt wasn't important enough for the original trial. And yet now you expect us to find important enough to change the result of the
Tell
original
them how
jury's findings.
selfish you are.
And what's more,
Not you.
not only do you quote this unimportant evidence verbatim, but you expect us to believe that you actually remember the exact date on which the alleged statements were made. Don't you think that's stretching the credulity of this court a little too far?
Yeah, I can't remember what happened yesterday. Never mind.
No, I don't.
Back when?
If you remember rightly, I said I was feeling rather down, and that's why I went to call on them. You see, September 14th is my birthday.
I thought you were going to say the day her
Thank
husband
you,
died.
Mrs. Healy. No further questions.
Lynn's got a good day for it, hasn't she, Bea? Better than in here.
Oh, yeah, and if she's got any sense, she won't come back. Anything's better than this boring dump.
What are you talking about? You came back with your tail between your legs, didn't you?
Oh, fair go, Bea. When we went over the top, it was different.
Yeah, at least we had the guts to give it a go.
What are you trying to say, Doreen?
I'm not saying nothing.
Good.
Just the same, I wouldn't mind a day out now and then. Got to think of me heart, though. What do you reckon I put it to Mrs. Davison, AP? I've got nothing to lose.
Got nothing to lose? What a laugh. I can just see the governor saying to our Miss Vernon, I wonder if Mrs. Birdsworth would care to help out a couple of mornings a week in the canteen at Carlton United Brewery.
Yeah, you'd think all your Christmases had come at once. That would be my dream job. And
Really?
what about you, then? How'd you like a job floor walking at Mars? Keep your hand in, eh? Oh, yeah, think of all the things I could nick in your knickers, yeah.
Oh, God.
Come on, I want to know what this new lady's in for. Well, not, she's in for shoplifting,
Well then,
but...
how are we going, all right?
Yes, fine,
Morning,
thanks,
lad.
Mr. Butterfield.
Why she wanted to be
Are
caught?
these okay?
I mean...
Oh, just what I wanted. That's
Morning,
very
lad.
good. By the way, what happened to the plants that were over there? Somebody call for them?
Yeah, he came and picked them up just after you went out.
Money?
Where's the money then, or didn't he pay for them?
Oh, I'm sorry, I just forgot, that's all. Yeah, I've got it here.
Trying to make a bit on the side, eh? Not bad. $40 on your first day out.
I just forgot, that's all, Mr. Butterfield. There's no need to call me a thief.
Now then, young lady, don't you get all high and mighty with me. Just remember it's your father I'm doing a favour for, right? You keep a civil tongue in your head.
Yeah, well, if I have to put up with cracks like that every day, I don't want any favours. Here, take your rotten...
I still think he's going to take her back. He's going to say it was a bit harsh, something like that. He'll apologise.
Dr. Miller speaking. Oh, hello, Doctor. Stephen Wilson. I thought you might just like to know we're in with a chance. Karen's mother showed up at the last minute to testify.
She what? What made her change her mind?
Well, who knows? Maybe some of what I told her got through. The important thing is it's the break we've been looking for.
What difference will this make to the verdict?
Well, as one professional to another, I'd have to be cautious. Still, let optimism be the word for the day. The jury's out, so we won't have too long to wait. Are you still there?
Yes, yes, of course.
Well?
Well, I'd almost given up hope.
Trust Wilson, Doctor. And, keep everything crossed, huh?
Yeah, he couldn't see it, mate. They're quite pointless doing it.
Hello, Mum.
She allowed visitors.
Karen? Oh, Karen.
Thanks for coming.
Oh, I should have been here the first time.
I thought you'd be in Queensland by now.
Well, we were on our way.
Where's your fiancé?
Oh, he's outside in the car waiting, I hope. I told him everything.
What did he say?
He didn't say anything. He just turned the car around and drove back here. I think he was more upset that I almost walked out on you than about what you'd done. You see, he's got a daughter of his own about your age.
Well, he believed her and he didn't even know her.
Will everything be all right?
Yes, I think so.
Unlike the mother.
Let's just hope your efforts haven't been in vain.
Lynn was not to go anywhere without your permission.
She just walked off.
For no reason. Mr. Butterfield, this could well cost her the chance of an early parole.
Yeah? Well, we did have a bit of a tiff about some money that was missing, but...
What is
I thought
missing?
the girl might have been involved, but she wasn't, Miss Vernon. It was all a mistake. See, what happened was this. A bloke called and he paid Lynn cash for the order. Mrs. Grant wasn't here to take the money and I was out too.
You mean you just left her here by herself? On her first day?
Well, she thought I was blaming her for taking the money. I suppose I was a bit rough on her. Look, Miss Vernon, I'm sure that's the reason she's walked off.
Well, Lynn was your responsibility, Mr. Butterfield. You should have reported it at once.
Well, I didn't know she was going to go off like this. I thought she'd have come back by now. Look, I don't want her to get into any trouble.
She might be on her way back.
Have you got a telephone?
Yeah, over there.
Thanks.
To the prison, that is.
All right, Vera, just handle it that way. You know what's expected.
Yes, Mrs. Davidson.
Yes? She's what? Have you notified the police? Why?
There's been a misunderstanding.
We can hear her now.
Lynn's done nothing wrong.
Why couldn't we hear them before?
To blame. When she's had time to think, she'll turn up. I'm sure.
I hope you're right, Jean. We can't afford another scandal after the Frankie Doyle escape. Let me know as soon as anything happens. I want to be kept informed immediately. Lynn's disappeared.
Oh, I knew that girl shouldn't have been allowed out alone. Now do you believe me that Miss Vernon has no idea what she's doing?
Vera, we have to try. That's the whole point.
But Lynn Warner's a dangerous criminal. She's already been involved in one armed hold-up.
I'm sure you have your own work to do.
Well, sorry, Miss Bennett.
What are you doing here? You're supposed to be in the laundry.
Oh, I'm not well. I feel real rotten. I keep getting these headaches. I think it's something to do with my claustrophobia.
What are you talking about?
Well, I keep getting these black spots behind me eyes and turning dizzy, and the screws... Oh, sorry, Miss Bennett. The officer said she thought I should see Dr. Miller. I reckon I'd feel better if I could get out in the fresh air like I did that day with Mrs. Davidson. I felt real good after that.
Wordsworth, the only thing wrong with you is malingering.
Eh? God, what's that?
Oh, go on, you stupid woman. And then get back to work.
I wondered what she was
Gee, a
angling
bit of this
for.
wouldn't go astray. He could put his shoes under my bed any time.
Oh, what are you talking about? You wouldn't know what to do with it if you fell over it.
Oh, that's what you think.
Here, give us a look. Oh, gee, why don't they show all of him? Where'd you get it anyway?
One of the screws.
Yeah, might have known.
Layman quack. He says I need glasses. Says I'm getting the headaches because I need glasses.
Oh, yeah?
Nothing wrong with my eyes that a bit of fresh air and a change of scenery wouldn't fix, but he just laughed. Shouldn't have a flaming license.
Yeah, well, I told you were wasting your time, didn't I?
Yeah. Well, I don't know how
Burn
long he's
that
been
magazine
practicing,
as well,
but he'll
please.
never get it right at this rate.
Listen, if you were on the outside, Lizzie, you would have to get off your bum. No more sitting around with your feet up half the day, eh?
That's right, Smith. No sitting around with your feet up. The break was over 10 minutes ago. Let's see some work.
Hey, Vera, who do you have to see to be recommended for that work release program? Not you, eh?
That's right, Smith. Not me, not Miss Vernon, not Mrs. Davidson, no one.
I knew no one would do me a favour.
Well, I wouldn't take it personally. It's not just you. There'll be no more work release for anyone.
Hey.
Lynn Warner's taken off.
Oh,
She might be on the way back. Give her a chance to get there.
oh damn.
Hold on, was that one okay? Oh, that picture's okay. That's fine.
Disgusting.
Oh, what would you know, prune face? GB, do you think what she said's true?
Oh, how should I know? Stupid little bitch.
Just give you half an hour to get there. I'm quick to judge in this show.
Mr. Foreman and members of the jury, have you agreed upon your verdict? We have. How say you? Do you find the accused guilty or not guilty of murder? Not guilty.
Oh, she didn't get off. Is she going to get any money? Is she going to go with her
Do you
mum?
find the accused guilty or not guilty of manslaughter? Guilty.
Oh, no. Time served.
Hearken to your verdict as the court records it. You find the accused guilty of manslaughter, and that is the verdict of you all? It is. Prisoner at the bar, you have been found guilty of manslaughter.
Yep.
Have you anything to say, or do you know why sentence of the court should not be passed upon you according to the law?
I thought the judge says that. Supposed to say that. Maybe not. I've never been in court.
Mr. Wilson, do you have anything to say at this time?
Your Honor, I would be derelict in my duty to my client if I were not at this stage to make a final plea for leniency. However, this court has already heard the tragic circumstances that brought Karen Travers here today. And we have dwelt at length on the emotional turmoil and mental trauma that she must have endured before taking that final action. Add to that the agony of having spent the past 6 months in prison with the prospect of many more years ahead of her, and you will have some idea of the punishment that this young woman has already suffered.
Another 6 months?
And the jury has seen fit to reduce their verdict to the lesser one of guilty for manslaughter. And I feel quite confident that by leaving her to the mercy of this court, that I am leaving her in capable and understanding hands.
It's very kind of you, Mr. Wilson.
This is not normally like that.
The prisoner will rise.
Doesn't the prosecution get to say anything? Final statement?
Karen Travers, you have been found not guilty of murder, but guilty of the lesser charge of manslaughter. I agree with the verdict of the jury and commend them for their wisdom. On the question of leniency, I agree with Mr. Wilson that the court has heard sufficient to convince it that there were mitigating circumstances surrounding the killing of your husband, and that at the time of the killing, you behaved with impaired judgment.
However,
I therefore order that your sentence be reduced to 2 years, and you be given credit for any time you have spent already in custody.
So it's got a year and a half plus parole, so about a year left. Better than life.
This honourable court now stands adjourned until 10:30 o'clock tomorrow morning. God save the Queen.
So she got the triumphant version of the prisoner theme. Oh, Jean, why? Get out of my office.
Mr. Butterfield, any
You
news?
couldn't see much of it there, so that's fine.
Well, unless she's hitchhiking, she's not going to get back to the farm. She hasn't got any money. Listen, do you know if she's got any friends or relatives in Melbourne? Oh, yes, that's a good idea. I don't like to bother him, though. Yes, as soon as I can. Goodbye. Oh, can't it wait, Vera?
No, it can't. We have to call the police in now. It's standard procedure.
And that is Mrs. Davison's responsibility. What are you trying to do?
It is.
Hang me, Lynn, and the governor on the one rope? So much for team effort.
This isn't a Girl Guides camp. It's a prison, and we're dealing with criminals.
Don't you think I know that? Anyway, she's not due back yet.
She is missing.
Sorry, ladies.
That's all right, Greg. Come in. Vera was just leaving.
Wilson phoned. Karen Travers has had her sentence reduced to 2 years manslaughter.
Great.
Listen, do you fancy dinner and a
Thanks,
few drinks
Jane.
to celebrate?
Greg, I can't. I've just got so much happening. Look, I really do have a lot to do. Would you mind?
Why would if Vera just goes to the front desk and phones the police?
What was all that about?
What?
What's the matter with Jean?
Lynn Warner's run away from the nursery. Her ridiculous work release program has fallen apart on its first day.
No.
Oh, yes. Well, they listened to me. I told them that a system that allowed convicted criminals loose on the street is going to be abused. And do you think they're going to do anything about it? If I was in charge here, the police would have known hours ago.
Mrs. Davidson certainly has her problems.
Maybe she's walking back to the
By
prison?
the way, Mr. Warner, do you have any friends or relatives in Melbourne? Oh. No, it was just an idea. And I'll see you soon. Bye.
You know, why hasn't Erica phoned them? Oh, for some reason I thought that new person.
Hey, you look like the
I was
cat
saying,
who
still
swallowed
there.
the canary.
Oh, does it show?
Does it ever?
2 years. Oh, it's great news, Meg. I feel like celebrating. I asked Jean to come and join me, but she turned me down.
Oh, I think she's too worried about Lynn.
Yes, I know.
Well, why don't you come over to my place for dinner? Won't hurt Jean to have two of us on site.
Well, thanks. It's a deal.
Well, why don't you ask Steve Wilson? He might like to join us.
Oh,
Why don't
he's
you ask
probably
Vera?
busy.
She might like to join you.
Yeah. Yes, all right, I will. What about 7:30?
Great. You like French food?
Oh, terrific.
I didn't know you could cook French food.
I can't. But it's one of the things that Jean does very well.
It's a pity she's so bad at her job.
Now, look here, Vera.
Meg, Mrs. Davison wants to see you in her office.
It'll keep.
Chummy little lot, aren't they? You'd think they'd see enough of each other in this place. Well, I'm glad they didn't ask me.
No, you're not. You want to be asked.
Come in.
But she'd have still been a bitch, I said no.
No, the new prisoner. The one who refuses to give her name. The police have traced the fingerprints, and she has a record of previous convictions. They're sending over all the details.
Oh.
Would you bring her in? I want to talk to her. Yes. Oh, Jean, I was talking to the police about another matter. I had to tell them about Lynn. Sorry.
It's not quite 5 yet.
I know, but it should have been reported a long time ago.
She wants to get back quickly.
Oh, Miss Bennett, could you come out here for a moment, please?
Here she is. So why the hell did she walk back? But it's not 5 o'clock, she can't get done for it. She can get done for running away from the nursery. But she can't get done for running away from there. Well, from prison, that is. Yes, oh, I just saw the name there, Susan Nice. Was that the name of the new prisoner? Because we never knew. Did the police supply that information for us? I've got no idea. Now, we've got a new addition to the blurring. We've got Jean's picture and that mag. Now, all it did was show a bum, a man with his, like, facing the wall with his bum towards the camera. Like, bare bum, that is. So, yes, I won't be able to put that on YouTube. I will blur out the mag. I'll have to check the front cover. I think the last picture was okay. I think that was a man underneath a blanket, bottom half underneath a blanket. So, yes, I'm going to have to give that further looks into. I don't normally go around looking for naked men on TV shows, but there we go. I'll have to. But yes, a very enjoyable episode. I mean, it gave us more questions. I do think she's going to get that job back. Sign out. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, there isn't any character called Susan Nice right now. I mean, there might be. Might be a secondary character, well, a background character with a name. So, I'm going to guess that's this mysterious person. It seemed like she wanted to be caught. So, why did she want to be caught? She must have a reason. She didn't exactly try to hide she was trying to steal it. She saw, I think she looked at that guy, didn't she? Yeah, I think she looked at that guy who was watching her. So she wanted to be put in there for a reason. Is she after one of the prisoners? I'm gonna guess, if she is, it's gonna be Mrs. Roberts or Karen. Sorry, Mrs. Roberts were in this, was she? But yes, it's gonna be one of those two. I might be completely wrong. She might not be in there. She might be an absolutely fantastic person who is just, you know, a klepto. But yes, if you enjoyed it, could I please ask for a like, comment and subscribe? I would really appreciate it. And follow on Dailymotion, I'd appreciate that too. Any comments you've got, I'll be happy to look at and respond to. And I do have a Twitter and a Facebook as well, and that'll let you know what I'm up to, what's going on, you know, anything like that. If the channel gets hacked or taken down, what's happening. Now, as of recording this, my second channel has had its advanced features taken away because not enough channel history. I've got to fight that. So before that goes live, I'm going to have to do something about that as well. But if you have already subscribed or followed, thank you ever so much. I love you lots for doing so. It really means the world to me that you're supporting me like this. It honestly does. Now, I do have a Patreon and a Buy Me a Coffee as well. The early access on Buy Me a Coffee hasn't started yet, but it is on Patreon. The Buy Me a Coffee early access will be starting next year. But they both do have exclusive shows. But if you are a Patreon member or a Buy Me a Coffee member already, thank you ever so much, because it is you that is bringing the content to me to allow me to bring the content straight back to you. I cannot express how much it means to me. I love and appreciate every single one of you. I honestly do. So with that, I shall sign out now and go over to the next one and hope to see you there. Goodbye.